Hello, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here with the last video for my holiday catalog reveal party on Facebook. And I saved the best for last. I love this project. I love how glittery it is, and the soft look just definitely reminds you of winter, even though it's still summer as we're watching this. It is September at least, finally. But it's, I shouldn't say finally, this summer has flown by, but it is so pretty. I love this one. Okay, quick gushing over it. I'm kind of happy with this one. And I don't know if you can tell, if you look on the inside, I used that new Mercury Glass Acetate. That's in the background, and I'll show you how to do that too. And I'll show you how to get the colored glimmer paper. Just a lot of neat little techniques with this one. Okay, first off, I want to show you the products I'm using. Now the paper, designer paper I'm using on it comes from the Feels Like Frost suite. And right now, as I'm doing this video, I don't have the bundle, but it is coming. It's going to be here the day before the party, so I'll be able to show it to you in the Facebook Live. Hopefully the Facebook Live will happen. I'll tell you about that here in a minute. But I've used, well, I didn't use the ice stamp and glitter on the one I'm demonstrating, but I am going to use it in another card I'll be showing you here at the end of the video. And the Seaside Spray ribbon, it is so pretty. And this paper is to die for. I'm going to show you each image in that, but you get, this one is actually is a 6x6 pack. And it's 48 sheets. You get 4 each of 12 double-sided designs. So it's a really good deal. I really like it a lot. And then you turn the next page, then I used this Still Scenes bundle. It is a really neat bundle. And I'm also using the Snow Globe Shaker Domes, the Snowflake Sequence, and the dies. So let me hurry up and show you the bundle. There's the Still Scenes, and here's the die set. Isn't that pretty? I love, this makes the dome, of course. This is the outline for this image. This one will die cut this. This one is gave me my silvery base for my snow globe. And the deer, so I'll go ahead and take the dies I'm using. I'm using the deer, the trees, the dome, and then this one, and I'm also using this one. So I'm using quite a bit of the dies. Put that to the side. I'm going to hurry up and show you the beautiful designer paper. This is the Feels Like Frost. The images on this are gorgeous. I've shown this in my unboxing video, but it was a live, so hopefully these pictures will be better. A lot of times with lives, sometimes it gets blurry. Speaking of that, I'm hoping my live tonight is going to be a lot better than it usually is. AT&T has now said that we can get 75, their internet 75, which is still not fiber optic, but it's 3 times faster than what I have normally. So hopefully that'll all work out. Last year we tried to get faster, and then we found out the night before, after trying 3 times, that we couldn't get it. So hopefully I'm getting told the truth this time, and I'll have better internet for the live tonight. But here's the one of the designs, and here's the other side. So we've got actual pictures, so pretty. I love the frost look on these. And on the other side is silver foil paper. So we've got this one and this. Aren't they just so gorgeous? I love these. I love the images on this. The photography is just so pretty. And I like the silver foil side too. This is the one I'm using on the card I'll be demonstrating. There's that side. This one. Another pretty tree scene. I love the purpley colors in it. This one. They're so dreamy looking, aren't they? Really pretty. And I love that we've got 12 different images, but you get 4 of each. So you get 48 sheets of 6x6 in all of these. Here's the last one. So pretty. I'm going to be using this paper a lot. Now I'm going to show you the Snowflake Sequence. This is the other thing I'm using. I'm going to lift it up so you can see all their little stars, snowflakes, regular sequins, just a lot of prettiness. So I'll go ahead and close this up. We'll be bringing that out here in a minute. I want to make sure it's closed because I don't want to dump that. It'll go everywhere. Okay, I'm going to bring in the paper that I'm using. This is a piece of Seaside Spray. This is one of the new ink colors. It's 8.5 by 5.5. That's the card base. Then a piece of Whisper White. It's 4 by 5 1/4. Piece of that beautiful Feels Like Frost Specialty Designer Series paper, 4 by 4. Here's a piece of that really neat Mercury Glass Designer Acetate. And there's actually another one. There are two 12 by 12 sheets with these little dotted ones, and then two sheets that look like they're crackled. It's a crackled look. So you get 4 12 by 12 pieces of the Mercury Glass. This is Sparkle Glimmer paper in the annual catalog, and this is a 4 by 2 1/4 inch piece, and a piece of Silver Glimmer from the annual catalog. It's 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. And then another piece of Seaside Spray that is 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. And then 2 pieces of that beautiful Seaside Spray metallic ribbon from the holiday catalog. The longer one is a 6-inch piece, and this is a 4-inch piece. Love the sparkle in this one. Okay, now I'm going to fold the card base like we always do at the beginning of a video. I always like to do that and have it out of the way. Get the easy part done. So the card base is ready. Now I'm going to bring in my Whisper White piece and a stamp from the Still Seen stamp set. This is Season's Greetings. I'm going to take one of our new metallic ink pads. This is a Silvery Shimmer Delicata. Ink up my stamp with the silver. This is a nice way of getting silver without having to emboss. And I'm going to stamp this bottom center, and make sure it's straight. You see these little bottom humps down here? Those need to be straight. It's a little deceiving looking at it, but as long as you've got those two, there we go. So that's ready to go. Now it does take a little longer to dry than our regular classic ink, but it goes a lot faster than any of the metallic inks we've had before. So that's going to be drying here really quick. Take my 4 by 4 piece of the Designer Series paper. And go ahead and just use my multi-purpose glue. Get all over it. And I'm going to put this, once again, I'm going to turn this upside down and then turn my image upside down. That way I can see the edges of my cardstock up here, because I want the top and the sides to line up. And nice thing with the glue, I can move it around a little bit till I'm ready for it to stay down. So there we go. And I like using the glue with this because I'm going to be die cutting a hole here. And if you use snail, you're not going to want to cover this whole thing with snail. So it goes a lot better if you use the multi-purpose glue. That's ready to go. Now I'm going to take my dome die and run it through the Big Shot, and it's going to go right here. And if you want to get a kind of an idea of where this is going to be, you can kind of lay this down so you know you've got it in the right spot. But I know I only want a little bit up here, and don't forget the blade is actually down a little bit, so it's not going to be quite as high as what this is looking. It's going to be a little lower. Make sure it's centered from left to right. I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine and be right back. Okay, so now we've got the hole. Now, when I cut this out, when I made my first card, I thought, boy, I could still use this on another card for a dome. So I'm going to show you that card here in a minute. So don't throw this away if you want to make the second card. I'm not going to demonstrate the second card because you'll get the gist of how to do it from watching this one. But make sure you keep that and use it on another card. So I'll put that over to the side. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my 6-inch piece of ribbon. I'm going to put some snail on each end and wrap it around the bottom of this Designer Series paper and above the Season's Greetings image. And make sure you don't have any of the designer paper showing from the bottom of the ribbon. I almost had some, but I think I'm okay. There we go. So that's ready to go. I don't want to put it on the card yet. I know normally when I put ribbon on, then it's ready to go on the card, but we don't want to do that yet. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the Mercury Glass, and I'm going to die cut it with this dome piece. I'm going to take my small piece of Seaside Spray and use this base die for it. My Silver Glimmer is going to be with a little delicate looking snow globe base die. Then my shimmer paper is going to be both the trees and my deer. And I'm going to run those through my die cutting machine. I'll be right back. Okay, one thing I have learned with the Mercury paper, it is a little thicker, and if you I ran it through twice and it didn't quite go all the way through. So you might want to use a shim, a real thin piece of paper, to get a little tighter pressure to it, and then it die cuts just fine. See, I didn't have any problem with that. So that's just a little tip with the acetate. It does take a little more work. Now I'll bring in all the other die cuts. This one's got all the little pieces to it, so I'm going to grab my folder here. A lot of them are already coming out. So I'm just going to do it like this instead of keeping it in the die. Sometimes with the glimmer paper, if you rub too hard with your brush, you end up taking off some of the glimmer. So I found it easier to take it out of the die, and then you just hold it up and lightly go across. See how all those little pieces came out? I think they're all out. They sure are, but see how easy that was? So that's my tip on that too. You're going to be getting a few tips on this card. Make things a little easier for you. So now I've got those pieces. Get my little deer out and my trees. This is with the sparkle glimmer paper. And these look good just being the white, and it's an iridescent look. I don't know if you can tell that in the video, but you can see little different colors in it because it's iridescent. Such pretty glimmer paper. And then here is the Seaside Spray base. So now we're going to put these things together. I'm going to take this and just put, oh, I did miss some. If you can see, there's some little bitty spaces here. Once you turn it over, you can see that. So I'm going to take this. If it doesn't come out with a brush, yeah, they're starting to come out now. But if they don't, then I can use my little paper piercer that's on the other end of this. When you're on the silver glimmer side, it's hard to tell if you got everything out, but when you turn it over, then you can kind of see. See, I've still got a few pieces here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this around, get my spatula back inside, have my little piercer, and just take out these little pieces. They're just wanting to, they're die cut just fine. They're just not wanting to come out. There, that looks done. And then we've got some down here. If you forget these, it's not that big a deal because it still looks pretty without those popped out. There we go. Now I'll turn it over. See, you can see all these little ones are all out now. So now it's ready to go. Let's get all these little pieces out of here. Okay. Now I could use my fine tip glue pen, but since I've already got this one out, I'm just going to put, there are a couple places that are a little wider. Just lightly, don't squeeze hard, just put a little bit of glue in different areas. Try to get some here in the corners. Like I said, don't squeeze hard, just get, and it helps when you're holding the paper in your hand rather than putting it down on your table, because then you're going to end up squeezing out too much glue. You get a little more control when you do it this way. I definitely want to make sure I get them in the corners and some of the edges here. It's okay if the center doesn't have a lot. We get a little bit here on the top, a little bit here on the bottom, and that should be pretty good. So I'm not going to have to cover up the whole thing. Put a little bit more here in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to put this on top of my Seaside Spray. The nice thing with the glue, like I've said, you can move it around a little bit until you're ready. So I'm going to pick this up and kind of move it a little bit. And if you see a little glue on the outside, it's okay, it dries clear. See, there, that's ready to go. So isn't that pretty? I love glimmer. I'm a glitter girl, I guess. When it's on glimmer paper, I don't use glitter on my projects too much because I end up having glitter all over my house. Okay, I'm going to grab one of our silicone mats just to protect my area here. I'm going to bring in my deer, and I'm going to bring in my soft suede combo blends. This is the light and the dark soft suede of the blends. And I want the antlers. Actually, I'm going to start with the light this time. I'm going to use my light and the whole body. I'm using the brush tip and do a light coloring. You don't want to go too hard because it will fray your brush tip. And I'm coloring in the body and his legs, and even going all the way down. I'll show you, I'm going to make his hoofs a little bit darker with the dark soft suede. But I'm leaving this down here white because that's going to be the snow. But isn't that neat how you can color your glimmer paper? Our blends are fabulous. You couldn't do this with the regular markers. but you can definitely do it with the alcohol markers. Isn't that pretty? Now I'm going to bring in my dark, and I'm going to color in the antlers. Like so. And then I wanted his hoofs to be a little darker, so just a little bit on each bottom section. There we go. And I'll bring this up in the video a little bit higher. So he's all ready to go. And then I decided I wanted to color the trees too, but I wanted it to be a really light color to keep the color of everything light. But I'm going to go ahead and use my dark to do the trunks here at the bottom. You can use the light or the dark, whichever one you had. I had the dark in my hand, so I'll go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to bring in my light soft sea foam. I'm only using the light one, because like I said, I just want it to be a faint color. I'm going to color all over the trees, and that just gives it just enough color. And if you don't get a lot of, get the ends of the branches colored, that's okay. That'll kind of make it look like there's snow on the tips of them. So like with the deer, I was making sure I got all the way to the edge, but I'm not going to worry about it quite as much with the tree, because that kind of gives it a snowy look. Like I said, I did like the white look, but I just wanted to have some color, but very light colors for the trees. I know pine trees are usually darker than this, but it would have been too dark for my card. So that's how you color glitter paper. Okay, now we're going to put this together and turn it into a shaker card. So what I'm going to do, you bring in this. Now you'll see why I didn't attach this to the card yet. I want this to be centered right where I want it to go, just like so. I'm going to hold it in place, and I'm going to grab some washi tape. The nice thing about washi tape is it comes back off again. Now don't put it on really, really hard, because it could tear your cardstock a little bit if you rip it off too fast. Make sure you bring it up slowly. But there, that's going to hold it in place for me. So now I'm going to take my, actually I'm going to bring that down again. I kind of like having the tape on my surface too, because it kind of holds the card in place. Now to put this on so you don't see the adhesive, now the trick on this one, it's a little hard to tell which side is which. Now I'm going to have to look at this now, because I think I have it upside down. Yeah, this side is a little bit more matted looking, and that's a little shinier. I want the shinier side on top. So this part that looks a little more like a matte finish, I'm going to bring in my glue dots, and I'm just going to put them in different places where the silver part is, because you don't want to put it in the clear areas. So this is how I found it's easier to attach this mercury paper. So I'm going to put one right there, right in the silver. That one looks pretty good. So I've got two on the top. Let's see, I maybe put one close to the corner here. Since I've got a lot of white on that corner, I don't want to. And you have to be careful, because there is a film on here and it starts to come up a little bit. Sometimes, that time it did on me. But you just put it back down again, it'll be fine for the card. Don't worry about it. Don't get all I started to panic, so I'm just going to warn you, it's okay. I'm going to put this one on here. And that's probably pretty good. Forrest's going to get it. I think I might put one here in the middle where there's silver. Okay, and now the trick to get this in the right spot, actually, I'm going to bring this back up again. This top one's not wanting to stay. Let me get this all centered again. You don't want to have the tape go over your opening, because that's what I just did, so that's why I needed to move that again. This is just going to be placed directly inside that hole. Kind of keep it lifted up. I'm kind of putting the bottom in first, making sure it's all even. Because once you set it down with those glue dots, you can't move it around. So just make sure it's directly in that opening. And push it down. Now slowly take the washi tape off. Like I said, it comes up pretty easy, but if you go and rip it really fast, it may not. So there we go. Now I can lift this up. And I've got that all ready. Now I'm going to put on my trees. I'm going to go ahead and use glue dots for this too, because I want it to stay on really well. And I think the glue dots work really well with the acetate. So put one on the back of each tree. Get A little too much paper here. Let's take some of that off in this tree. And I think I'll put a couple here on the bottom, because I definitely don't want this moving on me, because once I put the dome on it, I won't be able to get it back in place. So I'm going to line the bottom of the snow close to the bottom of the dome. Try to make sure it's straight. And put it down on the acetate. And then I wanted my little deer to be popped up a little bit. So I'm going to grab my mini dimensionals and just put some in a few places. Let's see, maybe about right there. It's a little too big. His head's a little too small, I mean, for the dimensional. So that's probably good there. I want to put one down here, but that's still a little narrow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clip off a thin piece here on the edging. So yeah, I use every bit of my dimensionals, and put that right there on the bottom, and that should hold pretty good. So now I'll take the paper backing off of these. Okay, and now I'm going to put him close to the middle, and I'm just lining up the bottom of his snow with the bottom of the snow of the tree. So now he's ready to go. Now here's the fun shaker part. I'm going to grab the Snowflake Sequence. You don't need a lot. Just going to pinch some, and I'm going to put them right on top of him. I want to make sure it stays in the dome area, though. I don't want to have any here on the blue part of my card. Maybe I'll put a little bit more. Now I could put in some of our ice white glitter, and this is what I did in my other card I'll be showing you here in a minute. But I just wanted to have a subtle look on this one, because I wanted those colors to really show. Sometimes that when you add glitter, it kind of softens the look, and I didn't want to go for that. So now that those are in there, I'm going to grab one of my domes. These are one of those snow globe shaker domes, and they're shaped perfectly to go around that die cut. So the first time, and there's adhesive on the top and on the bottom. So I'm going to remove the paper backing on the bottom. Sometimes it comes off easy, sometimes it doesn't. Once you get it started, it comes off pretty easy. There we go. If all else fails, you can take your pick tool out and help you. So take that film off. And now you carefully keep it up above so you don't stick it down first. Line it up with that Mercury glass. Just slowly bring it down. That way you can move it around as you're working with it. There we go. And that's down, and all the little sequins are inside. So now I can start shaking. It's already my shaker card. Now what I'm going to do, first off, before I take the adhesive, well, actually we can go ahead and take the adhesive off this top part. I'm going to lift this up. Take the backing off of this one. Okay. Now before I place this down, I want to put glue on the back of this. So we'll make sure you get glue along that narrow spot too, so it won't be popping up on you. Once again, I think it's better to use the glue on this because you want that opening to stay down. You don't want it to raise up at all. I'm even going to put a little glue on the ribbon. Make sure the corners are covered up. Okay. And now with it glued too, now remember this has adhesive on it. So you want to make sure you're getting that right where you need it, and make sure that all of the edges here look straight with the card. Okay. Kind of move it a little bit. Then when you're done, then you kind of pop that down. And there you go. That's how you make the shaker part. Pretty easy. So it's not as hard as it looked. Now I'm going to bring in the base, and I'm going to put dimensionals on it. Actually, first, I think I'm going to put my ribbon on. So I'm going to grab my 4-inch piece of ribbon. I just love this. Isn't that the sparkle on this ribbon is so pretty. And I love that seaside spray color. It's one of our new colors, so sometimes I still forget the name of it. I'm going to grab my glue dots, and I just did a single knot. Grab a glue dot, and I'm going to put it on the top center of this base like that. Now I will trim these here in a minute. I think it's easier to trim once it's on the card. So now that I've got that on, I'm going to grab regular dimensionals. Now, you could just use the mini ones. I'm going to use the big ones on here. And that should be pretty good. Take the paper backing off, and this is the last step of this beautiful card. What makes it so pretty is just all the glitter. And this will just fit like so. Bring in my scissors, cut these at an angle, and it is all done. So there's that shaker card. So I hope you liked all the cards I did today and all the videos I posted. I hope you had a lot of fun with these. And I'll be back here at 7:30 tonight, Eastern Standard Time that is, with my live. If you missed the live, it'll become available as soon as I'm done with it. And like I said, I am going to keep this group open through the whole holiday catalog, so you can come back and look at any videos you might have missed, because I'm sure you're not going to be able to spend the whole day looking at all my videos. So you can watch those at your leisure until January 2nd, and then I'll archive the group. So I hope you enjoyed all the cards. Don't forget about my Doily Rewards program, my special for from September 4th to September 11th. If you place a $50 order, instead of just getting one doily, you'll get two. A $100 order will get you two more, so you get four for a holiday for a $100 order. And after that, every $50 is back to the one doily. And if you place a $150 order, do not use the host code. That way you get Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up, and you'll also get 5 doilies. The 4 for the $100 and then another one for the next 50. And that will get you halfway to a $50 shopping spree. 10 doilies gets you a $50 shopping spree, and I even pay the shipping and tax. So you can get all that information in the Doily Rewards link below in the video if you're watching on YouTube, and I'll put it in the post description on the Facebook group. So again, I hope you enjoyed the class, the party. I keep saying class because I'm used to doing classes, but I hope you enjoyed the party. I had a lot of fun doing all these projects, and I'll see you in the live tonight. Oops, I'm back. I totally forgot. Remember when I die cut this little piece out? I wanted to show you what I did with it. This is what I did with it. I made another one. It's the same, pretty much the same, it is the same concept. Now this one, I added some of the glitter, as you can tell. So that makes, because I wanted to have that. This card, it just looks right with the glitter. This one I like better with just the little sprinkles in it. This one I want a little more to shake around. And I used the silver glimmer paper for the deer this time without coloring him in. I didn't use the Mercury Glass since I was using this one instead. And this little strip here, because it's a 6x6 piece and used a 4x4 piece here. This is a 1.5 inch by 4 inch piece of that same paper. I just used the other side with the silver on it. And this is the second smallest die in the stitched nested labels dies. And that Merry Christmas comes out of, I think, Itty Bitty Greetings. That was the one I used in that one. And here's that same ribbon. And this one I used that hammered metal 3D embossing folder again. So that's 2 looks. So don't throw this away, because you can get another neat, because if you look closely, you can see the little trees behind the deer. That's why I didn't use the tree die cut on this one. 2 neat looks. And now I want to show you that you don't have to use the same stamp set. This one, I used Country Home stamp set that's in the annual catalog. Use the same dome, use the same concept. This is the Pressed Petals Designer Series paper, and I used gold foil instead. And instead of making it a shaker card, I just put some of our gold metallic pearls on there. So it's just an actual shaker card, but it still looks like a neat snow globe. So this is going to be one of my projects in my Fantastic Fall class next week. So if you're local and are interested, I'll put a link to that in the description and in the Facebook post if you're interested in signing up for that. Well, now I'm done. I'll see you in the live tonight. Bye.